Welcome to the Crossover Solo Play series. This is Casual Clixing, bringing you a crossover of sorts. This is a team building / strategy discussion video that will lead into a Heroclix Solo Play battle featuring the X-Men and the Justice League. The catch is that both of these teams were made with a couple of restrictions or things in mind. The first is that in my previous solo play video, I had discussed how the Heroclix Solo Play rule of adding +1 to your deployment die roll for each character with leadership, and how I may need to change it as it may be too good if you stack a team with leadership. So one of the teams I built had to have at least 2, but preferably 3 figures of leadership so I can test this. The other restriction is that I wanted this series to also coincide with the top 10 series that I am also currently hosting on my YouTube channel that has been ranking the top 10 figures from each carded set starting with the Avenger set. So far, I am up to Secret Invasion. So all the figures and resources used to make the teams have to be available to use from the Avenger set up to Secret Invasion. That's why I'm calling this series the Crossover Solo Play series, as it will run parallel to the sets I have already featured in my top 10 videos. So enough about that. Here's a look at the two teams that are going up against each other. X-Men vs Justice League, a double crossover event. I'll start with the X-Men as it's the more unique of the two teams. All of the figures and the feed card are from Mutations and Monster set, and the special object that they're using is from Crisis. And I also managed to check off the team that I wanted to build that had 2 or 3 leadership rows to stack the deployment die roll in their favor. The X-Men team is also the weaker of the two, I feel, so we'll see how much of an impact their +3 bonus will help them in their deployment die rolls. They are also really weak in close combat, so they'll have to rely on their range attacks to win the game. Emma, and to a lesser extent Bishop, can deal with anyone that gets close, focusing on Professor X for a bit, and you'll notice I gave him the Outsmart feed card. I figured that since the X-Men will have trouble getting around stealth, that Batman was always going to have the outwit advantage against the Professor. This card gives him some protection from that. Plus, I thought it could also be a little thematic. I feel this feat could be as though Professor X can sense Batman's mind enough to know what Bruce is plotting, and this allows Professor X to develop a counter strategy. It has a chance to fail because Batman realizes his mind is being read, and he is using tactics to make mind readers have a difficult time reading his thoughts. Storm and Bishop will stay close to the Professor so he can try to keep their energy shield deflection that they start with from being outwitted by Batman. Cyclops will be my first go-to for using the X-Men team ability to heal one or more of the important characters. Then Emma Frost, as she gets the support power on the second half of her dial. The X-Men also have the Mass Absorber. Now that anyone can pick up light objects, Mass Absorber will be used as a deterrent to keep Batman from getting too close. Emma Frost is my first pick to use the object since she's the only one who has any close combat prowess in this team. They are also going to use 2 light objects to see if that'll mitigate the lack of close combat abilities. As for the Justice League, they're a little more straightforward. Batman, Black Canary, Green Arrow, and Zatanna are from the Justice League set, and Green Lantern and Red Arrow are from the Crisis set. GL will carry the arrows and Batman into position. This will prevent them from getting a token, freeing them up to be able to attack on the second turn. Black Canary and Batman will put some pressure in close combat and block lines of fire with their stealth. The arrows will hang as far back as possible because they both have 10 range. GL does too, but I want him to be a buffer if Batman and Black Canary can't get the job done, so he'll go in and help them out. And if possible, hopefully he'll get a pulse wave off in enemy territory if things get too hairy. The feed card Alias is on Batman because I wanted to make it as difficult as possible for the X-Men to hit Batman, as I want him to keep outwit. Think of the feed card as one of the many tricks that Batman has in his utility belt. That belt is a Deus Ex Machina, so it is whatever you imagine it to be. If things start to go south for the Justice League, Black Canary and Zatanna will sacrifice themselves for the greater good, followed by GL and Batman. The plan is to keep the arrows safe and let them make it rain, but that's not saying GL and Batman won't do more than their fair share of damage either. I picked the Dark Cauldron special object to prevent the X-Men from healing around it, as they have Emma Frost who can use support and their team ability that can heal them up, so hopefully there will be a good spot for me to put the Dark Cauldron on. This video is part 1 of 2, as the next video will feature the actual game X-Men vs. the Justice League using the solo play rules that you can find on my website. The link to my website is in the description below so you can see the solo play rules for yourself. So please subscribe, that way you get notified when part 2 goes live. And if you're interested in the Heroclix solo play rules, make sure to click on the playlist at the end of this video, as it will take you to my Heroclix Playing Solo series beginning with the rules. That's it for now. As always, I appreciate your support and thank you so much for watching.